Welcome back to High Tech Heroes. Now, my guest Simon Field is going to show us how you can use a common everyday magnifying glass to turn any camera into a close-up camera. Simon?
Sure. The trick to taking a video through the microscope is to get very close to the microscope objective, or the eyepiece rather. And the way to do that is to take your video camera, which focuses normally fairly close, and then put a magnifying glass in front of it, just like you would in front of your eye, in order to make something appear closer. So now, here, we can see that it's much closer than this. Now, I've brought in some videotapes that I've done through a microscope of some pond water that's from my fish pond. And
how did you make this?
It's very simple. I've got a cheap tripod from an old toy telescope. I put the camera on top of the tripod facing straight down. I taped the magnifying glass into the lens hood of the video camera and aim it down the microscope and put a little tin foil around it to cut out stray light. And then just play with the zoom, get a good picture, and...
So there really is no microscope, it's just a magnifying glass?
No, the magnifying glass is looking at the eyepiece of through the eyepiece of a microscope. And...
Well, let's see what this looks like.
Sure. There we go. Here we have some vorticella. This is going to look a whole lot like home movies. There's a lot of playing with the lighting under the microscope. It's a lot of
yes, I can see,
focusing and things like that.
This is a lot less painful than having to look through the eyepiece of a microscope like I did as a child.
Actually, it's very nice because not only do you eliminate all the eye strain and things like that, but you can sit there and record and then go off and do something else and come back and watch it all in fast forward and see if there was anything interesting. And that way, in fact, I was able to catch a large ciliate dividing, which is something that I'd never seen before by myself looking through a microscope with my eye. Primarily, I think, because I didn't know how long it took, and so here's this thing that took about a half an hour for the whole process. And
are you able to follow any of these organisms?
That's something that I'm working on. I'm working on having a computer look at this video, and as something moves, try to keep it centered with a mechanical stage moving the slide around. But a lot of, if you see motion here, it's me moving the slide around from under the microscope.
Now, I understand, I mean, we've been waiting all week, because I mentioned last week that you were going to bring in these electric fish, and I'd sure like to see them.
Sure.
Are they, it looks like they're hiding over here in the tank.
Yeah. These are elephant nose fish. Okay. Give them a little nudge here. There. They look like little dolphins. And they use very small pulses of electricity. There you go.
Looks like they're sleeping here.
Yeah. They've had a rough time in transport here to the studio. What I've got here is a little amplifier, cheap Radio Shack amplifier, and a couple of wires. Just one wire stuck in one side of the aquarium, another wire stuck in the other side of the aquarium.
So this is just voltage through the whole tank?
Right. These guys are putting out about 1,000th of a volt in little pulses.
So this is 1 millivolt, and the clicking that I'm hearing, I don't know if the audience can hear that or not. I assume they can. The clicking that we're hearing is the fish making that noise.
Right. Actually, they're making little electrical pulses, and we're turning it into sound by amplifying it and putting it through this little speaker. Now, what I have here is a calculator that I've turned into a counter. So it's been running all evening, and now we have 26,930 counts. Have some electronics up here that divide the counts by 10.
Now they got excited.
So that, move my hand around. These guys make pulses so quickly that the calculator can't count that fast. So what I have to do is tell the calculator to count every 10th count. Okay. And what it's doing is it's just pushing the equal button. And so I pushed 10 plus and then equal. And then this electronics here just keeps pushing the equal button electronically.
Oh, and so you automatically count on this calculator, so you get a very cheap event counter.
Exactly.
Out of a sharp calculator.
Yeah, the calculator was selected for its inexpensiveness.
And so, can we make them? You say that they use these clicks to locate walls and things the same way that dolphins, I guess, use echolocation, use sound.
Yeah, they can tell if there's something alive in the tank versus something dead that has a different electrical signal. It alters the electrical signal in a different way. They can tell when there's another one of them in the tank because they can hear the other fish's pulses, and so they can communicate with each other that way.
And now, what makes you think that they communicate? They put out the same. They put the pulses when there are two of them together.
Yeah. I don't have any direct experimental evidence that says that they communicate. In the literature that I've been reading, the males put out different pulses than the females, for example, and males. They're very territorial fish, or not this species, but there are other electric fish that are very territorial. And in fact, if you get two fish who are on the same wavelength, okay, there's some fish that will just try to chase the other fish away so that they don't get their signals jammed. And there are other species that will actually shift their frequency away from each other so that they're not jamming each other.
Well, it's at least some elementary form of communication, and maybe more occurs.
Yeah.
Well, I'm really interested in these, but I understand you brought one more toy that I'm really interested in. And if we're going to have time to see it, I guess we're going to have to move back over and see it.
The bomb in a bottle, as you've been calling it.
Well, that's what I call it, is a bomb in a bottle. I guess it's a great paperweight. Now, how does this work?
Well, what's going on is, here's another version of it. I'm trying to get they're kind of wet. Sponging them off here. These are acrylic cast blocks, blobs, whatever, that have a cavity in them that holds some water. There's a tube leading from it, from which the water, that's how you fill it with water. And some wires coming from batteries here that go into two carbon rods that are sitting at the bottom of the water.
Right.
Don't try to see in through there. It's all cloudy and stuff.
Don't we have one that's cut away here?
Yeah. This one isn't cut away as much as it exploded.
Okay, so now don't do this at home, kids. So this thing blew up, and
this one blew up, right? Now, what you can see inside here.
I think we really have to hold it still if people are going to be able to see it.
Here. Yeah, there are two black carbon rods on either side, and then there is a wire going through the center, or a pair of wires.
So these are the carbon rods here.
Right, those very dark little spots there. Okay.
And electrolysis occurs off of these carbon rods, I guess, from a battery that's just attached to a transistor radio battery.
Right. Now,
you get bubbles of hydrogen and oxygen that fill up the cavity.
Fill up this little cavity here, and then this little thing that's two wires that come close together like this. Those wires have a little spark.
Yeah, it's a spark gap. I see. And how do you generate the spark here?
This is a piezoelectric generator, a spark generator from a cheap Scripto lighter, a little electric cigarette lighter. So this fills up with hydrogen and oxygen, and then the spark ignites the hydrogen and oxygen. Okay. So if you'd like to try it here, just push down on this a couple times. Okay.
Go ahead, I guess. See. You've done this before. I haven't.
Okay.
Oh, good, it didn't work.
There it goes.
Oh, you tricked me.
And it rained all
Maybe
over
your
both of
electrodes
us.
got a little wet.
Yeah.
Well, that wasn't too bad an explosion. At least it didn't...
Uh-huh. Well, the idea is a high-tech squirt gun.
I guess so.
We
That's
can
a very
try
high-tech.
this one here.
Uh-oh, is this...
Oh, that was a good one.
Oh, my. Well, and that's all from a 9-volt battery and a dollar lighter.
Right.
And some
plastic. Yeah.
Amazing. And my notes are all wet now. My pants are all wet. Anyway, well, I have an idea. Hud, that's our director, Hud Nordin. Do you think you could do a chroma key with the microscope video that we had? And I guess I want to mention that next week we'll have a space scientist here named Brian Gilchrist, and he and his team of researchers at Stanford believe that they can generate a significant amount of electricity simply by orbiting a wire in the Earth's magnetic field. So be sure to tune in and see a real space scientist next week. And I also would like to leave you with this thought. In 1974, a friend of mine programmed the Control Data 6500 computer to write jokes. And this is what the computer wrote. I believe this is the first computer-generated joke ever. It goes like this. Man walks into a bar with a drunk under his duck. Those are no prices. That's my wife. Bartender throws him out. Be sure to tune in next week and see the space scientist. And again, thank you very much for being here, Simon.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's been a pleasure.
And we'd love to have you back and talk in more detail about some of these inventions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you for joining us this week on High Tech Heroes. Be sure to tune in next week where we'll bring you more entertaining information about the people and ideas behind the scenes in high-tech industry. And now, this is your announcer, Tony Brazis, wishing you the best of luck and a pleasant summer. Au revoir. This episode of High Tech Heroes was made possible by grants from Jerry Brown and Associates from Saratoga, California, Kinetic Microscience of San Jose, California, Cybernetic Arts of Sunnyvale, California, and Big T Tools of Sunnyvale, California.